Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. So I figure we can't have all this serious stuff all the time, right? It's not cool. And I don't know about you all, but I've had a pretty rough week. Started a new job this week, I'm still in the learning curve. And I had to reinstall Windows on my computer. Aren't you jealous and wish you were me? Anyway, I thought today we would have a little bit of fun. And the little bit of fun that I'm going to do is some Reddit reading. I know, but I figure let's just enjoy some other people's paranormal stories and see what kind of weird crap we can get into. So I'm going to start off on r/humanoid encounters. And it looks like it is by Official Cheem Scream. I saw a faceless person at my workplace one day that vanished without a trace. To start off, edit, forgot to mention this was about a year ago, 2024, at a small restaurant I used to work at in the South. Okay, first of all, I've never seen or heard anything that wasn't there, so I have a sound mind. I figured I'd share this here since there aren't many people in real life who'd believe me because of how strange this encounter is. For context, I was working at a restaurant when hardly anyone was there. Most of the staff at the time, skeleton crew, had gone to break and it was just me in the back kitchen. I went to put some frozen stuff back in the freezer and went towards the tables. I drew the general layout below with the freezer to the left, and out of the corner of my eye, clear as day, I saw a humanoid figure standing in the doorway, its head peeking around the corner, and as soon as it realized I saw it, it ducked away towards the front line/dining room area. I very quickly walked, more like ran, to the doorway, and no one was anywhere near the entire area. No one was even at the front line getting food. Even though it was for less than a second, I remember every detail about its face, or lack thereof. I know it sounds like a horror movie scene, but I promise to anyone reading this that it had just deathly pale skin stretched over its face where eyes, a nose, or mouth would be. I went over to the doorway after I couldn't find it, and measured where I saw its head in comparison to the top of the pizza ovens, and it was around 7 feet tall. At the time, I was the tallest at 6 foot. And here we have our little thing here. Now, of course, this could obviously be any number of things. Maybe they did actually see a faceless humanoid person, or there could have been just a normal person. In all honesty, I have seen things, I'm sure we all have. They could have just seen a normal person standing there, and they just didn't notice the face, or it moved by so quickly that they didn't see a face. And really, in all honesty, it could have just been a trick of the mind. One never knows. But like I said, they could have also just seen something. Okay, so this next one is a long one. And it's actually an Am I the Asshole? And they're asking, would I be the asshole if I considered divorcing my husband after he hid the history behind the house we are living in and brushed my concerns about it repeatedly? So this is from Mountain Tree 6807. I don't know if this is the right place to post this, but since my friend had recommended it to get outsiders' perspective, since my friends are giving me mixed responses, please forgive me since it's long. I, female 29, my husband Dean, male 32, and our sons, 5 male and 2 male, are living in North Carolina near Appalachia for nearly 6 months now, and it's driving me absolutely crazy. We moved from Detroit after we lost dad-in-law, and to support mom-in-law had a breast cancer surgery. Husband wanted to be closer to his family, and I agreed as well, since I have a very good relationship with my in-laws. Unfortunately, we couldn't move in with mother-in-law since she was living with my sister-in-law and her husband and 4 children after selling off her own house for medical expenses. My son, male 5, is almost nonverbal and a high-functioning autistic who is quite sensitive to loud noises, and my sister-in-law's children, being very young, are quite noisy. So we moved into my mother-in-law's grandfather's house, which is only 30 minutes away from walking distance from my sister-in-law's house. Did you get all that? I'm sorry. This house is old and it's giving me the creeps. Despite how my husband saying it's just an old house and my sister-in-law saying it's just Appalachian, I just don't like it here. I'm skeptic, but the house is terrifying and it's affecting my kids too. My 2-year-old son stands in front of mine and Dean's bed every night since we moved in, for no apparent reason, staring at me blankly. I used to do that to my dad when I was a kid. There's weird smells and noises in the house I can't describe. My oldest son just bursts out crying, pointing at walls. The doors, which I remember locking, is open, and most importantly, my sons somehow leave their playroom and end up in different parts of the house, which they shouldn't have access to, since they are so small in height compared to the doorknobs. I have talked to my husband about it, but he brushes me off every single time, saying I'm imagining things or being lazy, which I'm not. I do stay at home to work and do all the house chores, while Dean, who got a new job, is barely home. The last straw came a week ago when I was visiting my mother-in-law and sister-in-law's house with my youngest, and our babysitter called saying my oldest was missing. I rushed back home and checked everywhere, only to find him in the basement crying. Dean is the only one who has the key to the basement, and it was locked when I left. My husband called the babysitter incompetent and fired her on the spot. I don't think it's the babysitter's fault since her resume made her seem competent. Since this was the last straw and my husband was still brushing me off and won't tell me anything about the house, I finally talked to my mother-in-law, whom I didn't talk about the house before, since she has quite a trauma response to it, and she told me about how her dad was a bad person as well as a serial cheater and kicked her mom, her, and her siblings out to bring his new mistress and her children. But for some reason, after 2 to 3 years, the mistress, her children, and mother-in-law's half-sister just disappeared, and mother-in-law's parents got back together, but had mentioned how the house smelled extremely odd and fleshy when they returned back home, and it gave me major red flags. Mother-in-law told me more about her father, which is too personal to share on the internet, but it gave me major bad vibes, and also gave me reasons to believe that he had a potential to commit serious crimes. I confronted my husband about it, and he brushed me off again, saying it was silly stories, and mother-in-law just made it extra scary to freak me out, and we ended up having a huge fight, where we called each other some nasty names. He called me a crazy, stupid bee, and I am acting like this so I can keep him away from his family, which made no sense since I'm the one visiting mother-in-law and taking care of her alongside sister-in-law, while he barely visits her. He stormed off, and God knows where he is, not picking up my calls, and I am living in a motel nearby, not wanting to be alone in that house with my kids. My sister-in-law had taken his side and blowing up my phone to fix it with her brother, and mother-in-law is neutral in this, but seems to be taking my side, but it is probably biased since that place has given her bad memories. I'm considering divorce and talk to my friends about it, and some are saying I am right, while others are saying I am overreacting and watching too many horror TikToks. I feel like I'm not in the wrong. I just want my husband to understand me, to hold me in his arms and tell me all is well, even if he doesn't believe me. At least he could give me a reassurance that everything is all right, but he is acting like a psycho ward patient, calling me crazy. He is never home. He doesn't understand the paranoia I am going through, how I can't handle this anymore for my safety and the safety of my children, even if it's not paranormal related, and his blatant distrust in me. So would I be the asshole? Okay, so should I answer this? I guess I should answer this. Okay. I spend some time on Reddit, and everybody always immediately jumps to divorce. And in the paranormal community, everybody always jumps to the paranormal. So we are going to go in the opposite direction for both. I think I am very much on the side of get some counseling. Get some marital counseling. He probably didn't know any of that story, since his mother doesn't talk about it. He probably didn't know any of that. It was probably news to him. Obviously, he's a non-believer in the paranormal, and I fully believe that there are sectors to the paranormal. You've got people who believe absolutely everything. You've got people who believe some things and don't believe others, and then you've got other people that even if a ghost popped up right in front of them, they absolutely 100% would not believe. You kind of have to deal with this, and it seems like her husband is the last one of those. Even if something popped up right in front of his face, he absolutely would not believe it. That's okay. In this situation, I don't think it matters. What she needs is she needs for him to comfort her and not just blow her off. So he needs to get his act together. She needs to get her act together. They need to actually communicate with each other. They need to actually listen to each other. And they need to figure this out together. Appalachia is Appalachia. I've never been to Appalachia. I've heard a lot of stories. I know people who are from there. I tend to believe them. There's so many stories and there's so much experience, and it's so ingrained in their culture that I tend to believe them. Call me nuts, but I do tend to believe them. So she may actually be experiencing some things. Her father-in-law could just be a normal old man. He may not have been great to his family, but he may just be a normal old man. They might be looking into that whole thing with the mistress and her kids and everything. It's a little too deep. So I think counseling, 100% get some counseling. The next story is taking us right back to our humanoid encounters. Horrific experience and things being turned upside down. This happened last week in 2025 in California, United States. Last week I had a horrific experience. It was the middle of the night and I woke up to the footsteps of my apartment. I immediately got up and walked around. Didn't see anyone. Realized that the front door was stupidly unlocked, so of course I lock it, do another check around the apartment, and go back to sleep. Several hours later I wake up to the same noises, but this time I stay still and listen. The noise stops, but my bedroom door opens ever so slightly, and I see the black outline of a person. At this point, I'm petrified. I don't move or make a noise. I just wait. Finally, the figure just says 0 in a human voice. Sounded like any other human man. I jump out of bed, turn on all the lights, and look around again. Nothing. Double check the locks, and this time lock my bedroom door. I sit in my bed for a while waiting for something to happen before dozing off. In the morning, I'm still pretty freaked out, but I go to take a shower, and I turn on the water, and the water is hitting the ceiling. The shower head has been turned completely upside down, and I realize the only place I didn't check was behind the shower curtain. And I really don't think that I would have done that. Like, why would I turn the shower head 180 degrees around? It wouldn't make sense. Anyway, I go about my day and try not to think about it too much. Flash forward to yesterday. I get in my car in the morning to go to class, and my rearview mirror has also been turned all the way back upside down. After that, I'm just so confused and spooked. I wondered if I was sleepwalking and turning things upside down, but I have never been a sleepwalker in my 22 years, and apparently it's very rare for sleepwalking to randomly start in your 20s, almost unheard of. Does anyone know what is going on? I'm not well versed in the supernatural, so it's pretty out of the element. Is there some sort of spirit that turns things upside down? Is it a bad omen or something? Would love to hear people's thoughts. I don't know, bro. I'd have to see it. Do shower heads even turn like that? Mine doesn't. I mean, there is no possible way for me to turn my shower upside down so that it would hit the ceiling. I could do it with my mother's, but she's got one of those detachable ones. And mine is a fixed piece in the ceiling, and there is no possible way I could turn it to hit the ceiling. No possible way. And as far as the rearview mirror in the car, I don't know. It sounds to me like somebody got into his house. I mean, I'm just personally going to say, I think this is human. Whoever the heck this was, I think somebody, literally got into this guy's house and just kind of messing with him. I don't know if they got into his car too, but this sounds human to me. Okay, this is from r/paranormal and random reporter. Closing time and other dimensions. I saw something that shouldn't exist. Okay, I don't even know where to begin with this. I've never posted here before. But after what happened last night, I need to know if anyone else has ever experienced something like this. So, for context, I live in a pretty quiet town. Nothing exciting ever happens here. That's what they all say. I work late, usually getting home around 2 a.m., and last night was no different, except that it was. I took the same route home, driving through mostly empty streets. There's this one stretch of road that runs past an old industrial area. Warehouses, some abandoned, some still in use. I've driven past it 100 times, but last night, something was off. As I approached one of the empty warehouses, my headlights flickered. Not like a normal flicker, but a pulse, almost like the lights bent inward for a second, like reality itself hiccuped. I slowed down. My gut was screaming at me to just keep driving, but my eyes caught movement. At first I thought it was just a trickle of light, a shadow maybe. But then I saw it. It was standing near the warehouse entrance, tall, unnaturally thin, but with limbs that seemed to bend wrong, like it wasn't fully locked into our dimension. Its skin, whatever it had, was a shifting shade of not quite there, like it was flickering between being visible and something else entirely. Then it turned. Not like a normal turn, more like it shifted in place, like one frame of reality was replaced with another. Its face, if it even had one, was blurred. Like I was looking at it through the water, and the moment I locked eyes with it, my brain screamed at me to run. I slammed on the gas, but as I passed by it, my radio, which was off, crackled to life. A voice, distorted, layered, like multiple people speaking at once. "You're not supposed to see this." Then everything was snapped back to normal. My headlights stopped flickering. The warehouse looked the same as always. The thing was gone. I don't know what I saw. I don't know if it was even fully there, or if I caught a glimpse of something bleeding through. But ever since last night, I've had this terrible feeling that something is watching me. Has anyone else ever seen something like this? Or did I just witness something I was never supposed to? Okay, so that's the absolute fakest thing I've ever read, but it was fun. Either it's fake or it's the same thing that was in that restaurant from the first story. So we will move on. We're going back to our humanoid encounters. And again, not going to try to pronounce that name. My encounter at night in remote Finnish countryside. This happened 3 years ago. It was December 26th, and me and my sister had just visited our grandparents, who live at a farm in a remote Finnish countryside. It was not particularly late, perhaps around 7 in the evening, but this being the north, the road was pitch black and there was no streetlights. My sister was focused on driving carefully, as you never know where the deer might jump out in the road, but I was looking around at the side of the road, which was only lit by the headlights of the car. Suddenly I saw a shape of a slightly unnaturally tall man standing perfectly still at the side of the road, simply staring blankly ahead while remaining still. The humanoid figure seemed to pay no attention to us or the car. The very moment I saw the humanoid figure, my lizard brain sensed danger. I almost jumped on my seat, and my heart started beating extremely rapidly. I had never experienced that sort of sudden, visceral fear before, and my sudden reaction freaked out my sister, who was driving. I quickly looked back, and the figure was still there, but very quickly it became too dark to see. This is a very remote road with multiple kilometers to the nearest farms, and there were no streetlights. In theory, it is not impossible for a tall person to have been walking in the area and stopping to let the car pass, but there were no houses anywhere close. It was a pitch-dark road, and the temperatures were freezing. The way the humanoid was just blankly staring ahead was also very unnatural. I don't know what I saw, but it reminded me of the Finnish and Scandinavian folklore and a creature called Nudapuki. Wow, talk about a butcher job. So that, which resembles a northern Scandinavian version of Krampus. The season would match. However, while I didn't see the humanoid for very long, it did not seem very goat-like, although it did seem to be around 2 meters tall. I've never heard of stories about skinwalkers in this part of the world, but I can't rule that out either. Okay, it's not a skinwalker. Skinwalkers are Native American. People like to claim that they're seeing them in other countries, but they're not. They're here. If you know the story behind skinwalkers, you understand why they're here, and most likely not there. Again, this could be the same creature that was in the last story and the first story. Just gotta say, it's kind of an easy creature. They all seem kind of Slender Man-esque. Just please remember this is Reddit. Like 99.9% of the stuff you read in boards like this on Reddit is just made up. It's fun, and that's why we're doing this. But don't hold any weight to it. Okay, sticking with the same board, humanoid encounters. Pale white humanoid. My first time posting here, hopeful that someone's had similar experience or can help provide any answers or insights. So, I'm located in Akron, Ohio, USA. This happened in maybe 2022 or 2023, I can't exactly remember the year. I had just gotten home from working late one night. I used to test gas stations and would work late into the night most times. I got home around 2:45, 3 a.m. and let the dogs out to go potty, and when I was standing there, I got the overwhelming sensation to peek around the corner on my house towards my neighbors. So I just barely peeked around the side of my house and looked into their backyard and saw something that truly freaked me out, like the worst feeling I've ever experienced to date. So for context, it was late into the night and a dark night, maybe a crescent moon or even a new moon, Either way, very dark outside. So I had stepped back out with my dogs to get my stuff out of my work truck, and while they did their business, I set my stuff inside the side door of the house and walked back outside to them. After they finished up, I let them back inside, but before I could follow them, I got such an overwhelming feeling that I had to look around the corner of my house to my neighbors. Didn't know why, but felt compelled to do so, so I just barely peeked around my house and saw this creature standing inside my neighbor's fenced-in backyard. It was standing at the back of the yard, facing towards the woods behind our houses, so had its back towards my neighbor's house, and I was looking at its side profile. It stood maybe 6 to 7 feet tall, pale white skin, but was like bright, like a light was shining on it, but again, it was pitch black outside. I could see it perfectly, like I had shined a flashlight on it. It was very human-like, except it had no clothes on and was muscular but smooth. Sorry if it's inappropriate, but it's necessary for the description. I could see it from the head to toe, and it had no genitalia. Just a smooth body, bright pale skin, and was just standing there staring into the woods. As I was staring at this, just in absolute disbelief and shock at what I was seeing, while still hiding behind my house, essentially, it snapped its head towards me and stared directly at me. I didn't get any thought in my head besides run. In a full panic, I ran inside my house, slammed the door behind me, and locked it, just waiting for whatever this creature was to come and get me. I have never felt fear like that, like I did that moment. I truly thought it would come and get me and take me or kill me. I've never seen anything like it before or since. So in summary, it was 6 to 7 feet tall, bright pale white skin, muscular but smooth body, completely naked but no clear genitalia. It stood staring into the woods inside the fenced-in backyard at the edge of the yard fence. Didn't make any movements besides to snap its face towards me. Closest thing I can find online to what it reminds me of is the creature from Prometheus, but it's still not the same at all. If anyone has any ideas or thoughts, I'm all ears. Would love to know what you think it is. Thanks. Well, I think it's fake, but again, it's an interesting story, but a lot of these are very, very well written, and a lot of the descriptions are very similar. I mean, all these creatures, these humanoid creatures, are being described pretty similar. They're all even the same height. It's just so bizarre. Anyway, there was no story with this. I just thought this was really neat, and I thought I would just share it with you guys. This is from r/oldschoolcool. My aunt posing with the plague pit found in her garden in the 70s. My aunt found bones in her garden and alerted the local police in a small village in Norfolk, England. People came and excavated the site. They took one skeleton and reburied the rest. She lived there another 10 years and had 0 ghost stories. She's still alive and in great shape at 90. So she just had a plague pit in her backyard. And she posed for a picture with it, because why not? Why not? I mean, I'm not going to make fun of it, because if I had a plague pit in my backyard, I'd pose for a picture with it too, because how often do you get to show people the plague pit in your backyard? Anyway, moving on. This is from r/paranormal, and it's from I Am Not Really. I think I punched a ghost. There's really not a whole lot of flair or drama to this. It's about 8 a.m. where I am right now, about 2 hours ago. So 6 a.m., I'm in bed and I'm snuggled in with all my animals. 1 dog, 3 cats. I wake up to one of the cats literally laying across my face, because they're assholes. So as I'm picking this cat up with my left hand out of the corner of my right eye, I don't really see anything, but I sense something. I couldn't tell if there was a dark spot or what, and the window is to my right, but it's just something was there. And then, I don't know why, but I just got a feeling like something was coming at me. The way you reach out to catch a ball, that when somebody throws a ball at you, that same thing, but instinctively I punched. I hit something. I felt texture on my knuckles. It was somewhere between normal human skin and snake skin. All of the animals are asleep, so none of them were above me or standing. And there was a sound, and I know it was audible because the dog heard it and she kind of reacted to it. But the cats didn't. It was the same kind of sound that, when you pop a really small pimple on your forehead and you can hear it. It was like that. That's it. The whole thing took place over the span of about 2 seconds. I punched a ghost and then I went back to sleep, but I've been nauseous ever since. Acid reflux, heartburn, and my head is killing me. I don't know what he punched. Yeah, I just decked a ghost. It's cool. All right. Just carry on. r/paranormal puzzled-headed apple 66. I never felt like this before during urbex. Did I encounter a bad spirit or something similar? So me and my friend live in Europe. We travel a lot together to places around here to explore abandoned places. It's a fun hobby I can only recommend. But one place scared me, and I think I won't come back to that place. It was a Friday evening when we read about a place deep in the Alps. We went to a bar which was a bit older in our town and asked the older folks about their knowledge about it. It was an old brewery deep in the forests in the Alps, where they also made cheese apparently. So after all the prep, we went out there. We drove 2 hours, and after we reached the end of the road, we had to hike and walk through part of the forest to get there. After quite a while, we found the old dirt road which led up to the building. We walked up the way a bit, and once we settled near the buildings, we got started. We had flashlights on and slowly walked around the place to find our way into it. We found a window which was already out of its frame, which led right away down into the restroom. We climbed in and slowly, while looking around at the stuff on the floor and walls. It is quite a stunning place. Lots of documents and otherwise important stuff was scattered around. Anyway, after some time, we walked into a tiled room with a gigantic pot made out of polished metal and copper, and lots of pipes everywhere. Once we looked around, my friend held his eyes covered and hissed like he'd been hurt or something. Before I was able to ask him what was wrong, my head started to hurt a lot. I had to close my eyes too, just to make sure I won't fall over because of the feeling. And once I opened them again, I had such a massive nosebleed which stained my shirt and hoodie like hell. We felt so ill and unwell that we quickly made our way out of there. Once we got asked about it by others weeks later, we only told them that we didn't find anything. Can't explain it, but I'm somewhat feeling uncomfortable knowing that my blood is on the tiled floor. Any idea what could have been the cause of that? Could have been anything. In all honesty, it could have been mold. They could have been attacked by a homeless man that they didn't see in the dark. Could be any list of things. Or it just could be fake. Again, it's Reddit. It could just be fake. So, last story for the night. And we are in r/paranormal ahedonic. I think I met a vampire. Help. So, I go to college near Springfield, Massachusetts. I was walking to the city kind of late, maybe around 11 p.m. I cut through the side street when this guy steps out of an alleyway licking his lips. White dude, about 6 feet, late 20s. But the way he dressed was off. Like 80s attire, kind of outdated, but not in a hipster way, just old. He spotted me, made a beeline for me, and asked for directions. The second he got close, I swear to God, he smelled like blood. It was dark, so I couldn't see what he was drinking, but he was holding something. A bottle? A cup? No clue. I remember fixating on his canines. They weren't long, but they were sharp, like noticeably sharp. Then he asked me where the nearest payphone was. I told him I had no idea, because who the hell uses a payphone in 2025? But the weirdest part? He had an accent. European one? But he first tried to speak Tagalog to me. I'm Filipino, but I only speak English. I laughed a little because, why did he assume? But now that I think about it, how did he even know Tagalog? And then it got really weird. For a split second, I felt the air got sucked out of the street. Like everything stopped. No wind, no distant cars, no nothing. Just silence. I turned my head for half a second, maybe instinctively, and when I looked back, he was gone. Not walking away, not turning a corner, just gone. I know he was real because when he first walked toward me, he kicked a rock, and I heard it skip across the pavement. I even checked. The rock was there. So yeah, either I met a vampire or something like that, or I ran into some guy cracked out of his mind. Anyone experiencing anything similar? Who do I even contact? What do I do? Do you notice they all end the stories exactly the same way? Has anybody else ever experienced this? I mean, this is fake. It's either fake or that she really did meet a crackhead. Because, in all honesty, okay, let's think about this for a minute. If they were vampires, is the guy like a cicada? Does he live underground and only come out once or twice every 20 years or something? I mean, I understand, yeah, okay, he's from the 80s, but if he's a vampire, he's immortal. He would have gone through all this time with us. He would know that payphones don't exist anymore. He would know about cell phones. He probably would be dressing in a different way. I'm thinking that this is probably just a crackhead. Having my own experiences in places like Jersey City, New Jersey, I'm going to venture a wild guess and say that this is just a crackhead. Anyway, guys, I appreciate you hanging in here with me. I hope you like this. If you do, please let me know. I can try to do this again, trying to find somewhat coherent paranormal stories on Reddit is surprisingly difficult. these were barely coherent. I had such a hard time reading these because there are words that aren't supposed to be there, and yeah, they were not the best written things I've ever seen. But if you like this, I don't mind going through the trouble, so let me know down below if you want me to do more videos like this. I guess I could try to use Reddit or maybe some other places, and there's several paranormal groups on Facebook and things like that, and we can see what we can pull up. Anyway, let me know. Go down in the description, follow my socials if you like the video. Like, comment, and subscribe, all that good stuff. And guys, I will see you next week, and thank you for your patience. Bye, guys.